Very good evening, everybody. Nice to have your company wherever you're tuning in, all around Australia or indeed the world. The platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club and Thursday Night Motorsport for you. It is the 21st of May, 2026. It's night 4 of week 6 of term 2 of 2026. And we are starting off in the best possible way, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Tsukuba, the first time in a long time that we've been to this niche little Japanese layout. And then, of course, we're heading to Spa, one of the more famed, revered circuits in world motorsport for the, well, it's not the main course, it's the dessert of the evening that is Thursday Night Motorsport, because this is the main course right here. Formula V first up, Porsche second up. You know the routine, ladies and gentlemen. Let's rock and roll. Let's raise the decibel level right now. 10:30 local server time, 10 km an hour winds, easterly direction, 20 degrees the ambient, 46 on track. And, yes, that's going to be nice and toasty for these guys. Let's quickly go to the left-hand side of screen. We tell you that circuit, we haven't seen it for a long while. We might bring the map up a little bit later on and delve into that in more detail. Time is going to beat us here, 2.08 kilometres. So it's a short lap. It's a narrow lap. And we'll see how we go from there. Let's rock and roll here, because we will update you on the championship standings when we get a chance to catch our breath. We're a little bit tight for time off the top tonight. Grid looks like this. Alexander Borgersrud has picked up exactly where he left off last week. 2 poles from 2 starts on the platforms of the GSRC. Sam Chapman alongside him, looking for a far better result than what he had at the Nürburgring last week. John Merritt and Lockie Purvis from the second row, Ryan Tate, Adam Lavis from the third row, Mark Heppel, Hilton Booth from the fourth row, Derek Fitzgerald and Jordan Pianozola from 5. From 6, Brett Bradbury, Thorne Weggett from 7, Brendan Nealon and Joel Hansen from 8, Will Ramsden and Greg Padgett from 9, Jonathan Harris and Michael Adams from 10. Well, actually, no, forget that. Trav Vazapati has not set a time there, nor is Tom Pritchard. I don't think they're joining us for the first one of the night. What I like about this is to say good evening to Matt Schmidtke, is that it's only a 64-second lap around here, so laps are going to happen thick and fast. There's going to be plenty of them tonight, ladies and gentlemen. It's the main course of Thursday Night Motorsport. Invert top 10 for race 2, invert top 15 for race 3. Round 6, Disruptive Labs, Formula V. Let's go to work. They fan out across the main straight. It's a very staggered, scattered sort of start. They hit the hairpin at turn 1. That is a magnificent start from Borgersrud. The rest of the field sorting themselves out further back. Ryan Tate's made a good jump. We've lost one early on, have we, potentially? No, that was just a tech glitch. 2.08 kilometres around this circuit. It's been a long while since we've visited the venue. It's one, I must admit, Schmitty, it was not a venue I was familiar with until we visited in iRacing circles. And then all of a sudden, I think it popped up on either Project Cars or Gran Turismo, one of the two. Niche little circuit, but terrific for Formula V.
Yeah, it certainly is a good little circuit. I believe I was familiar with it from, it would have to be Forza. I'm pretty sure that's where I'd seen it from. So, yeah, but it's a good little track to race around.
And at the end of the first lap, Alex Borgersrud has just checked out. Track limit's not necessarily an issue. They're using all of that AstroTurf to their advantage. At the end of the opening lap here, here's an interesting thing or two to pick up for you, ladies and gentlemen. 17 starters. Michael Adams already on pit lane. So Adams on pit lane, neither joining the server later, has run into incident 1 or 2. And despite this being a bit of a technical infield circuit, the fact that you've got a very open, flowing, stretching back straight and then a sweeping right-hander that takes you around onto the main straight, you've got a long period of time on what is a 64-second lap in which to let the slipstreaming game play out. So Chapo in behind there in second. We'll be hoping to use that to his advantage. Johnny Merritt was brilliant last night in the tin tops in the Toyota 86s. And Ryan Tate is there in 4th place, hoping to notch up his first win of the season. So too is Lockie Purvis. Adam Lavis, Derek Fitzgerald, and Jordan Pianozola, who was brilliant in post-race comments last night, here in 8th place. Hilton Booth, currently holding the invert pole as we make it to the right-hander at the end of the second lap. Clean start, all things considered. graphics coming in there for you. Slow down for Michael Adams, but he's already parked up and said, you know what, I've had enough. So that does go to tell you that he did start the race, but he's not going to finish it. Whether or not he actually jumps back into the servo for races 2 and 3 remains to be seen. A little bit disappointing, actually, Schmitty, to see such rise and fall in the turnout numbers week in, week out in this series. They were packed to the rafters last week. The grid was absolutely immense at the Nürburgring. Things got a little bit heated. Things got a little bit spicy. Tempers flared. It was a chaotic sort of night. But Tsukuba, one of those great little niche racetracks that is synonymous with Formula V competition. We've had it on the server in this series before. Obviously not the draw card at the Nürburgring was. Either that or people are off preparing for the Porsches around Spa.
Yeah, it's disappointing me to see the numbers drop again. 20, I suppose we've only got 18 circulating, but it's not too bad. But the 26 we had last week would have been even better around this tight little track.
We pick up Ryan Tate there in 6th spot at the moment. Derek Fitzgerald and Jordan Pianazzola are side by side. That's the closest battle on the racetrack right now, really. Fitzgerald has gone by and holds on to 7th. Mark Heppel is 9th. Hilton Booth is 10th. Jonathan Harris, biggest mover so far, up 4 spots, but he's under pressure there from Thorn Weggett, if you don't mind. And Borger's run has been caught by Chapman. Here we go. The one thing that should be concerning to everybody, and I mean not just competitors, but those of you watching at home as well, is that the great John Merritt, a stalwart of this caper, is already 3 seconds off the pace and we're only 4 laps in. So that says a lot about what Alex brings to the table, and we saw a couple of examples of that last week. He hit the ground running in his debut on the platforms of the GSRC. And of course, Sam Chapman has used the slipstream to his benefit there to reel that deficit in from about a second into quarter of a second. And we've got a lot of laps to go here, folks. We should, by rights, I reckon, go close to getting 10 laps in here. If not, we'll be just shy of the mark and go 9 laps. Such is the shortness of the lap time-wise. And also track-wise. I think, if I'm right in saying, this is the shortest stop on the tour in terms of track length. But that bodes well because the action happens thick and fast. And you look around the spectator vantage points, plenty of great vantage points around here because you can see a lot of the racetrack. A lot of the circuits you go to these days, you pick one vantage point and then you're craning your neck looking around for the nearest big screen. There's Fitzgerald under pressure. Have a look at this up on the outside. Adam Lavis, the first target. Jordan Pianazzola on his inside. So Fitzgerald, while trying to go around the outside of Adam Lavis, has sacrificed himself. Pianazzola the 7th. Now, just to give everybody a little bit of intel, did follow up with our friend Grant Boyden, who I'm reliably informed is going to be in the comment thread this evening cheering on Alex again. We're setting everything up to have the great man in the house with us next Thursday night when we go to Brands Hatch. I'm very much looking forward to that. And actually, just as we go to air and I open my phone to reply to Josh Zuno, there is a message from Grant tuning in. So thank you, mate. Good evening to you. Down the back straight we go. Chapman, Merritt, Purvis and Tate, the next 4 through. I'm interested, actually. You can't see it at home, but we can see it on our timing screen. Last week, the Japanese flag was flying proudly next to Alex's name. This week, it's a very different Pacific Islander type looking flag. The Union Jack features. It's predominantly yellow. If you know your flags, let us know. It's not the Japanese flag this week. Have a look at this, though. Right on cue. He's under pressure from Sam Chapman. There it is on your screen. Actually, well done, Matty Schmidtke. Down in the bottom left-hand corner there, ladies and gentlemen. Our friends that play trivia at your local pub establishments, club establishments every night of the week, right? Usually, and I say that because I know full well. Hello, Josh Zuno. See, isn't it funny? Let me come back to Zuno in a moment. But here's Chapo. Those of you that play trivia in the local pub each week, you normally find that one of your vision questions will be, name which country this flag is from. So there's one for the trivia buffs out there. Not Chapo's flag, Alex's. So let's go across the line, 3 to go. The way I'm seeing it, with it being a 64, 65 second lap time, we're going to squeeze the 10th and final lap in with about 10 seconds on the clock. So we will go the full 10 here. I reckon we'll only go 14 in the 2 invert races. Samoa. Thank you, boys. Oh, our comments section on fire already. How good. And, okay, so Grant's giving us more intel. An island out of New Zealand, righto, so I was going to say, it doesn't look like this, it didn't look like the Samoan flag, but I'll take your word for it if that's a yes. But it's an island out of New Zealand, but he just likes the place. And, I mean, we've got a couple of examples of flags being attributed purely out of respect for the country or love for the country. Daniel Edmonds in GT3, of course, he's marrying into family that are based out of Hungary, so he runs the Hungarian flag. Let me come back to that. White flag in the air next time by. This is the start of the penultimate lap. We'll focus on this because this is as close as Chapman's been to a win for a couple of weeks when we were at Summit Point. He didn't sweep the night there. He got a post-race penalty for having a run-in with Ryan Jones. He's still filthy about it. You heard some of that reaction last week live on air in the post-race show of the Porsches. Through we go. It's interesting. I'm going to get back to that because, yeah, I'm going to come back to that. It is a Samoan flag of sorts, but it's not the same flag there in your comments section. The one that we've got on our screen is predominantly yellow outside the Union Jack. So it might be somewhere from, might be a state or a province from within Samoa. We're going to do a little bit more digging with regards to that a little bit later on as the night plays out. Round onto the main straight. White flag in the air, first time tonight. There are 4 races on the program for you, ladies and gentlemen. Good to see Barney on deck. Now Boogers Rudd goes into defensive mode. I might actually commentate some motorsport instead of talking trivia for a moment. And Boogers Rudd defends to the first corner. Chabo's going to have to get this done either down the back straight with a little bit of racecraft or in the slipstream on the run around the final corner on that short run to the checkered flag. But he's already seeing here that Boogers Rudd, he's up the inside. Have a look at this. Chapman's having a look, a real look. And it's more than a sniff at the moment. Boogers Rudd defends to the hairpin at the back straight, the entrance to the back straight, the final run. Let's go. 2 litre stretch across the back straight. Left, right, left. To the final corner we go. Can Chapman offer anything up in the run to the line? No, he cannot. Alex Boogers Rudd is a winner again in GSRC Formula V. What about that? With thanks to Disruptive Labs, Chapo nabs the fastest lap of the race. Boogers Rudd wins by 0.15 of a second. Have a look at this, photos all round. John Merritt, Lockie Purvis, then Derek Fitzgerald held off Ryan Tate less than a tenth of a second. Jordan Pianazzola well back in the end. Ahead of Mark Ebel, Brett Bradbury and Hilton Booth. There wasn't much change in that running order, apart from Derek Fitzgerald moving up into 5th spot. And unfortunately, Adam Lavis, there's obviously been an incident there somewhere along the way. The fact that he has dropped out of the top 10 into 12th match. He's going to have a look at that now for us, maybe.
I've clicked on it, and this is what it's showing us.
It's showing us Jordan Pianazzola
he
on the
appears
Skycam.
to be the other party involved. Yeah, it's just not... This must be it. That's all we've got.
That is the panoramic shot of the final corner for you, ladies and gentlemen. How good is that? Well done, Grant Boyden. Thank you. The island of Niue. So, there you go. We've been educated. And that's why he's coming into the house next week, because he brings a lot of knowledge to the table, not just motorsport. We're looking forward to having GB here next week. I've managed to, care of the El Presidente, Josh Zuno, who I need to come back to, I've managed to get hold of the Discord link to invite you into the channel, my friend, and I'll send that to you as soon as we get a chance to catch our breath here. It's all been going off since we got on air tonight for you. Cars lining up for the consolation race now. Invert top 10. Hilton Booth is going to lead the field to green, and we'll have a start any tick of the clock. Booth, Bradbury front row. Heppel, Pianazola second row. Tate, Fitzgerald third row. Purvis, Merritt, Chapman and Borgers Rub make up the top 10. Then Harris, Lavis, Weggett, Joel Hansen, Will Ramsden, Brendan Nealon and Greg Padgett. Michael Adams joins from the back of the field. Let's go! 10-second penalty for Jordan Pianazola for contact with Adam Lavis on lap 8. That's the incident we were trying to show you. We weren't able to. Hilton Booth has been picked off the jump by Brett Bradbury. Let's turn 1. Heppel also under pressure from Ryan Tate early, who's got by Pianazola. Then you go back to Fitzgerald, Purvis and Chapman and Borgers Rub both up a spot early. They've swamped on John Merritt, who's jumped down 2 spots. So Merritt on the back foot early here. And just to go back to what Chapo was, that last lap battle, there's no shame in losing by 0.15 of a second to Borgers Rub, because we saw what he brought to the table last week. We know the pedigree. We know the I rating. We know that he is a serious top shelf operator. And Chapo's, of course, one of our most versatile. He's a 3-time Australian Open World National Champion. He's won in Formula V. He's won in just about everything, be it championships or rounds or races. He brings a lot to the table as far as Formula V is concerned. He'll take a lot of confidence after a shocker last week at the Nürburgring, out of coming that close to getting by Borgers Rud. But that's the first part of it, and the second part of it is that he'll take a lot of confidence out of just being on pace with him and keeping him honest in the first place, and actually making him work for it, because we saw Alex last week just check out in the opening race at the Nürburgring. He didn't get that luxury this time round. Hilton Booth is doing a nice job of controlling this race, but just have a look at them mounting and lining up behind him, wanting a piece of the action. Booth leads from Bradbury and Heppel. There's trouble further back. Oh no, we've just put the mocker on him. Well, talking up how good Alex has been, and unfortunately he's caught up in an incident on the second lap. Oh dear. We have put the mocker on Alex Borgers Rub. He's down to 17th. Next target, Greg Padgett. This is now one of those situations, Schmitty, where we look at it and we think, okay, it's a lottery draw, it's a bingo game in terms of trying to work out who is going to, it's a raffle, it's a random draw as to who's going to rise to the occasion here and stand on the top step of the summit after this race. And there's a lot to play for with the when we get that 2-minute break where we have that warm-up slotted in the schedule in a few moments' time. We're going to walk you through the championship standings, folks. A lot of penalties came out of the round at the Nürburgring. Chapo still leads the way. The man that has been challenging much of the way, not on the grid this week. Jonesy's not on the grid either. I think he might be down on the Apple Isle with some work commitments. So, yes, there's a lot going on. And the totem pole, the leaderboard, is going to get a little bit of a shake-up tonight. Hilton Booth's doing a beautiful job, though, in front, Schmitty.
Yeah, he certainly is. Oh, was that someone? Yes, Chapo.
Yeah, oh no. So, Borgers Rud's in trouble, Chapo's in trouble, Merritt's in trouble. That was John Merritt. Was there contact between those two cars? So, look at that. The 3 hot shots of the field, and look where they are. The only one that they've got by so far, apart from Borgers Rud, who's back a shot, Michael Adams and also Greg Padgett. Borgers Rud's off the road again. A race to forget for him. He's going to have to come from the rear of the grid in the next race, which is 18th position. Chapo and Merritt are arguing over the front row at the moment because they're 15th and 14th respectively, which is first and second for the invert. Oh dear. Intel from the team boss. Tech issue. The mechanical issue of the sim world is technical. We'd normally talk about mechanical issues in the real world. We talk about technical issues in the sim world. When the screen goes black, unfortunately, you're helpless. You're up the creek without the proverbial paddle. You can't see where you're going. I mean, we do talk about some drivers in this caper being able to see their way around with their eyes closed, but we don't mean it literally. It's an experience reference. 3 wide through the final corner. I wouldn't advise that on a regular basis, boys. Jordan Pianazola in the thick of it. Under pressure from Brett Bradbury. Mark Heppel's just ahead of them. Down to turn 1. Heppel's been displaced. Pianazola to third. Hilton Booth and Ryan Tate have checked out. And that's the run. That's the risk they run, isn't it, Schmitty? The more these guys squabble, the harder it's going to be to reel in Tate and Booth. This is a real opportunity for these guys to step up and grab a PB result as far as this season's concerned.
Yeah, it certainly is. And we've got really the top 5 or 6 cars. There's really only 2 of the usual contenders with Purvis. Oh wait, no, I thought I saw Purvis up there, but he's down in 8th. Adam in 6th, and they're kind of the ones you'd expect to see near the front usually. So there's quite a few cars that could pick up the win or the best position, like you just said.
I didn't get a chance to finish the point I was saying with regards to Josh Zuno, right? So Zuno rings me today to explain some of the events that unfolded last night. If you were tuning in last night, you know what the hell we're talking about. I don't need to divulge it any further on air. It'll become known when it needs to be as the next couple of weeks play out. 3 wide again. Adam Lavis, I think, in the thick of it this time. So too Jonathan Harris and Brett Bradbury. Yep. And that's really nice from Mav, up into 5th spot, up 7 spots already in this race so far. So Zuno said, look, yeah, let's have an offline discussion about it. Give me a call when you got time. I went to my little niece's athletics carnival today. Dropped her home from that, went and grabbed some groceries. I'm talking to GB in the meantime. I'm talking to the guys that I'm working for in Grenfell this weekend, and then I get to Zuno. I said, mate, I'm so glad you've made contact because he's been the silent assassin as far as the club's been concerned in the last few weeks. I actually sent out a welfare check last week to see if Zuno was still with us. I hadn't heard from him. I said, we thought you'd done the Harold Holt. Thankfully not the case. The cogs are just turning very, very quickly behind the scenes at the moment. And of course, he's very busy with his own personal work commitments outside everything he does here for the platforms of the GSRC. But it was nice to touch base and catch up with him. Down onto the main straight run. Tate has got by Hilton Booth. That's that battle forefront, and then in behind them, they were going through the bottom of your shot. In behind them, Jordan Pianozola has got to the front of the second pack. Mark Heppel's there with him. He's a guy that's juicing luck. I've never seen someone run into as much trouble in the first part of the season as Heppel. He's been due for a good result. He's got the pace to go and do it. But the results just don't reflect that pace, unfortunately. Tonight could be the night. He's got to get by Jordan Pianozola, though. Adam Lavis, Jonathan Harris, Brett Bradbury, Lockie Purvis, Ben Thorne, Wiggett and Will Ramsden, the top 10. Chapman's got back to 11th, Merritt to 12th. And as we know, Alex Borger's rut, he's obviously got the screen fixed because he is back out there, but he is 2 laps down. So at the moment, bit like the Nürburgring last week, but for very different reasons, we're going to be watching him burn from the stern. Bolts on through from the rear of the grid, and that is a bloke that'll be on a mission. He will make up some significant ground along the way. We're going to have a look at what happened here. Oh, we did get a helping hand from Derek Fitzgerald. He got a helping hand from Fitzgerald, I think. And Brendan Nealon's just dropped off the road too. And the incident between Chapo and Johnny Merritt. Yes.
Oh, Chapo's just lost it on his own. And Merritt on his own.
Wow. Merritt out in sympathy. Nick Doohan, Pierre Francesco Keeley, Nürburgring 1990, German Motorcycle Grand Prix. Eat your heart out. Have a look at this. Synchronised spinning. Wowee. Have a look at that. That is a sympathy spin if ever I've seen it. Pirouettes. Scoring 10 from the Russian judges. Down the back straight we go, past half race distance, 7.5 minutes has been gone, come and went. We're at the end of lap 8, another 6 on the clock. Now, the reason why, just for those of you that need a reminder, the reason why we're only going to get 14 out of this race is because of where we already are on the clock. We've only got 6 minutes to go now, and it works with a 10-lapper because you're not burning that extra minute of leverage of the carryover time. It's a minute plus 4, 5, 6 seconds laps. So you're not burning a full minute's worth of extra laps there. So you can get, or extra lap time there. So you can get the 10th lap in and burn it in overtime and get to, 11 minutes by the time the race is wrapped up. That's fine. We won't have that luxury here because we'll burn more than a minute of extra time completing 14 laps, 14 Forza 56 plus the early part of the race, that standing start, you're always a little bit slower off the line there. So it will be 14 laps. It'll be very close to the marker 15 minutes wise. Ryan Tate is still the leader from Hilton Booth. The pace not where it was earlier in the piece, because the guys that you would normally associate with setting the pace, Chapo's got the fastest lap again to his name, second race on the trot. They're buried in the pack at the moment. And again, probably illustrating, Schmitty, why this is one of the more challenging rounds on the schedule. It's tricky, it's technical, and it's tight. Yes, you can make your way through an overtake, but you've got to choose your moments and choose them wisely.
Yep, you certainly do. And this is a track where being able to overtake more of a traditional style overtake compared to just drafting and zooming past them will be very advantageous, because there's not as big a straights. There is that nice one down the back there, but still nothing compared to some of the bigger tracks we've been to.
There was a comment there in the thread earlier saying that their specialty, like the autistic specialty, was flags. Not saying that I'm of the spectrum type, but my specialty is dates. So that's my party trick. Your party trick's flags. My party trick is people will tell me the date and the year, and I'll 9 times out of 10 nail the day of the week. That's my trait. That's my special. Usually it's easier if people give us the date of birth or something. We've done that before on this platform. We've had a bit of time to kill, you could say, over 6 years. Ryan Tate, Hilton Booth, Jordan Pianazzola, Mark Heppel, Adam Lavis, Jonathan Harris, Brett Bradbury, Lockie Purvis, Sam Chapman and Will Ramsden. I must say it's better after a few drinks at a party, because it just gets funnier, the reactions from people. Once you work out the matrix, ladies and gentlemen, it's very, very easy. Here's Mark Heppel in 4th place. Can he find a way by Jordan Pianazzola, who, to be fair, has driven a faultless race so far? 3 laps to go up the line. And as you can see there, 3 minutes on the clock. So, yep, 3 at the line. We'll go 14. And everybody goes home happy. So, think of that, right? 14 and 2 is 28. 10 is 38. 38 by 2.08. So, you're doing in excess of 76 kilometres of racing tonight here at the Tsukuba circuit. Getting more than your value for money out of Formula V so far this season. But I must say that if you haven't necessarily been captivated by what you've seen so far, ladies and gentlemen, I mean, you're difficult to please, because Formula V delivers every week, all week, every week, week in, week out, all season long, right? Do stay with us and do stick around for the next 4. You can't throw that around without proof. End of French Revolution, November 9, 1799. I'm going to write that number down. November 9, 1799, and I'll come back to you very shortly, only because it's one of those things that I can't be multitasking and telling you dates at the same time. If you've got the day of the week there, Zuno, I will be okay to match you with that. November 9, 1799. Let's do that. Back onto the main straight. Look at this rubbish. 2 laps to go. Heppel trying to make a move on the inside under pressure from Lavis. Heppel's gone. Heppel is gone. A good result goes begging again for Mark Heppel. And he's on the tow rope. I read somewhere recently, correct me if I'm wrong, that apparently certain years at the end of, or the start of a new century, so I know it applies to, I think they said 2100, end of the millennium, end of the century, are the only times where you don't have, it might be a leap year by the whole multiple of 4 thing, but they don't actually have February 29. I didn't realise this until recently, so I've got to take that into consideration when I talk about Zuno as well. Brett Bradbury having a spin late in the piece. Adam Lavis has found his way to 3rd in amongst all of that carnage. Ryan Tate sees the white flag. Ryan Tate now looking good for his first win of the season. Have a look at this. Hilton Booth, the only one that really stands in his way. Pianazola's been passed by Lavis late in the piece. Harris is there in 5th. Chapman is 6th. Mechanical meatball for Heppel. That's race done for him. Borgersrud's actually going to gain 2 spots here in all of this because he's going to move up past Padgett and Heppel. So it won't be quite burning from the stern for him. But it won't be an invert pole either, unless something sinister happens to somebody ahead of him on this final lap and they can't limp it home. Back straight for the final time. Ryan Tate, ladies and gentlemen. Hilton Booth, weaving left to right. It's like they're going down the back straight at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. The drafting, the weaving, the dicing. Final corner. Ryan Tate goes to victory lane for the first time in Disruptive Labs Formula V this season. Nicely done.
That was pretty close for third.
Lavis in a photo. Harris got the better of Chapman, who got his way back to 6th in the end. Remarkable. Purvis, Merritt, Fitzgerald, Ramsden, the top 10. And then Joel and Hansen, 11th. Thorn Weggett, 12th. And Michael Adams, 13th. Brett Bradbury, 14th. Brendan Nealon, 15th. Will get the invert pole. Okay, so Alex just confirming what Grant Boyden already confirmed there a few moments ago. My monitor turned off. Again, knowing that there's a little bit of indiscrepancy around where we observed February 29 at the end of the century and not, I'm going to try and answer Zuno's question on the fly here. I'm going to try and get the championship points as well. So calendar normally works in a 28-year cycle. So every day of the week falls once. Every date falls on every day of the week once. 4 times every 28 years, and February 29 falls on every day of the week once in that 28-year period. Are you with me so far, ladies and gentlemen? So on that notion, 4 by 28 is 112. 1799 and 112 is 1901. 1901 and 112 is 2013. So November 9, 2013, I was at Winton Motor Raceway commentating with Lockie Mansell, who Grant Boyden would know as well. The Winton 300, it was the Saturday of that weekend. But if, again, we didn't observe February 29 at the turn of the century, 1800 and 1900, you eliminate 2 days from the schedule. So you take 2 away, which would mean that it would be 2 closer, wouldn't it? Which would mean that it would be a Monday. November 9, 1799 would be a Monday, and if not, it's a Saturday. And that's my answer, and I'm sticking to it. Zuno, let me know if that's right, please. In the meantime, I've probably just confused every other person tuning in here. Championship points as they stood coming into this round. Have a look at how close it was. It was 1 point. Chapman to Sagassa not on the grid, reasons for which I won't go into at the moment. Lockie Purvis, 641. And 621 for Adam Lavis, 604 for Derek Fitzgerald. 566 for Ryan Tate. He's going to prop up a little bit tonight on the back of that win, isn't he? And Michael Adams, 559. So it is very spread out at the moment. 106 points covers that top 7. Ryan Jones, John Merritt. Forget about everybody else, really. They're not in contention, mathematically speaking. Brendan Neal on 385 make up the top 10. It's interesting when you look at all of that, because there's only 12 points between Jones, Merritt and Nealon, but only Merritt and Nealon are on the grid tonight. Drop rounds come into the equation next week. At the end of Brands Hatch, it's going to look very, very interesting. I was saying earlier that we've had a couple of tight, technical, tedious rounds of V's so far this term, but I promise you we're finishing with a bang. They always deliver a good show at Brands Hatch. We're there next week. They always deliver the goods at Barber. Willow Springs is one of the underrated racetracks anywhere in the world, and I'll go to my grave believing that. And then the Bend West is the best configuration of Casa de Shahin that there is. So we're finishing with a bang. The final 12 races. We're looking forward to it immensely. Cars coming into position. We're here with thanks to Disruptive Labs, Waste Options. Richo was in there earlier. Thank you, Josh. Appreciate that. See, I said Saturday or Monday, didn't I? I was just working on the notion of I know that there are instances where, and I've only read it in the last short while, where February 29 does not get observed when it would normally in a leap year. And I believe it's the turn of the century, so like except for the millenniums, so I think it's 18 and 1900, but yes, Saturday, I think you're right, so I said that, so you're welcome. Brendan Neal on Brett Bradbury front row here. Michael Adams, Thorn Wiggett second row. Joel and Hanson, Will Ramsden third row. Derek Fitzgerald, John Merritt fourth row. Fifth row, Lockie Purvis, Sam Chapman. Sixth row, Jonathan Harris, Adam Lavis. Seventh row, Jordan Pianozola and Hilton Booth. Eighth row, Ryan Tate, Mark Hebbel. Borgers Road burning from 17th alongside Greg Padgett. We are ready to rock and roll. Richo, who is, of course, the great man behind the great people at Disruptive Labs who support this magnificent club and this magnificent category, tuning in tonight and enjoying the spectacle, mate. Great to have you on board. Lights out, away we go. Final one of the night, 15 minutes. Let's do it. I didn't get to finish the sponsor run. Waste Options, Trophy AI as well, merch.tgsrci.com, Flash Graphics and Disruptive Labs. Great to have all them on board supporting the club, and we are live, of course, across Facebook and YouTube. We'll go around the grounds very shortly. There's trouble at the back. Hilton Booth involved, and so too Mark Heppel. Greg Padgett's avoided it. Have a look at that. It's a car park. Carnage aplenty on the opening lap. We got through the first turn so cleanly in the first two races, we were due. Still nowhere near as chaotic as the Nürburgring last week, though. Oh, wait, did I say that out loud? I'm sorry. Oh! Brett Bradbury, almost into the back of Brendan Nealon, nearly tripped up. Lost out to Michael Adams and John Merritt in the process. Now under pressure from Thorn Wiggett. Greg Padgett already on the tow rope on pit lane. Through we go. Main straight, Merritt to second, past Michael Adams. Chapo will be hoping to get through the carnage early and get out in pursuit of John Merritt, who's now second. Gets by Adams, who goes by Nealon. So all of a sudden, Jay Hotlap Merritt is in front. It could well be a pulse tuning 1-2 if Nealon can get by Michael Adams, not able to do so. Now under pressure from Brett Bradbury and Thorn Wiggett. Derek Fitzgerald's in there as well. Purvis up in 7th. Been a bit flat tonight. Haven't seen too much from Lockie so far. Borgers Road already up to 12th. We've seen Adam Lavis, Joel and Hanson and Greg Padgett all make their way to pit lane. Mark Heppel was involved in that incident as well. He's now 15th. Hilton Booth back to 14th, having got caught up in the incident as well. Ryan Tate only sitting 13th at the moment. 4 wide down the back straight at Tsukuba. Ho-ho! Now you've seen everything. I didn't think that was possible tonight. I mean, it's not the widest racetrack in the world. And it's not the longest either. But some parts of it are still wider than most of the British circuits we go racing at. Reminder that we are going British next week. Brands Hatch. And the full layout, not just the Indy layout, the full Grand Prix circuit that was in action last night across what was a very entertaining night of Supercar and 86 competition. 2 and 3/4 minutes gone. Sorry, folks, it feels like a very scattered sort of start tonight. We've been talking anything but motor racing. We've been talking mathematics, we've been talking flags, we've been talking calendars. Right now, talking motor racing. It's good. We'll go around the grounds shortly. First on AFL and NRL for you as well. Porsche Cup from Spa at 8:45 Eastern Standard Time. Back straight. Third time. Merritt leads. Adams second. They're broken clear. Nealon back down the inside. The one thing they absolutely cannot afford to do is let John Merritt break clear. Because if they do, he's gone. He'll check out. They won't be catching him. Borgers Rod's one of the best performers in the business, but unfortunately, not even he can work his way through that quickly, that swiftly. The amount of traffic that we've got here. Oh, and now he's run into trouble. No. Was that Thorn Wiggett that he got into the side of?
Yes.
Unfortunately, I think Wiggett was just parked there, wasn't he? So we'll have a look at that on replay. When it rains, it pours. Brendan Nealon now off the road as well. You can't work your way through these guys as though they're invisible or standing still, ladies and gentlemen. It's that sort of racetrack. It's not like when we go racing at Summit Point where it's reminiscent of Daytona or Talladega. Oh, geez. Hanson collected just about everybody.
Oh, they're just everywhere.
So, I mean,
oh, that was...
yeah. So Borgers Rod didn't get out of that one unscathed either.
No.
So it's been somewhat of a demolition derby sort of job, this one. No sort of luck for Alex right now. Oh dear. Can you believe this? Let's have a look at Brendan Nealon's incident at the same time. Thornweg and Alex Borgersrud both on pit lane again at the end of the 4th lap. And another major incident. So Brendan Nealon and Derek Fitzgerald trying to identify the other car that got caught up in all of that. And this is Nealon now limping around in 10th. Thornweg back on pit road. Borgersrud with the fast repair, 1.23 seconds back out in 14th, the case of what might have been. Third time's a charm, third time lucky, hopefully next week. His team leader will be in the booth with us, and hopefully we'll be cheering him home at Brands Hatch. But at the end of the day, Schmitty, we were talking about this last week. It's very hard to string a perfect night together in Formula V. It's just that sort of racing. But we show up because of the lottery nature of it. Yes, it can be frustrating, but I guess that's part of the appeal to it, the mystery of it, the spectacle that it is. Everybody turns up because there's an element of fun to it. Yes, there's an element of serious racing to it as well. We found that out last week at the Nürburgring, but nobody turns up here. Grant summed it up perfectly. No one turns up here expecting to have a clean, unimpeded run. They just know the way Formula V racing typically turns out to be.
Yeah, it certainly is a lot more chaotic than the other series. Most of the other series, you could jump in and go, yeah, I'd expect one of these 2 or 3 drivers to win. Here, not a chance. You could have some favourites, but their chance of winning is a lot lower than what a lot of the fast guys in the other series have.
Although that being said, still less chaotic than the roads of Cessnock during the school pickup hours. I found that out twice this week. Jesus. Round we go, onto the main straight. John Merritt, Michael Adams, Lockie Purvis. This is... Oh, out wide and in the grass, if you don't mind. Chapman does a little bit of whippersnipping. A little bit of lawn mowing on the run down the main straight. So nice recovery from Chapo. Second in race 1. Obviously not going to plan in race 2. Has had a clean run so far in race 3, but 6 seconds is the deficit to John Merritt. He ain't catching him at this point. That was quite the messy crash. I felt unsafe even though I'm nowhere near my rig, watching from a hotel in Auckland, says Mark Register. Yeah, exactly. Well, still not the biggest F-Vee Formula V crash we've had so far this season, mate. Summit Point Race 1 takes the prize there as far as I'm concerned for the moment. 7.5 minutes gone. So half race distance just like that has come and gone. 7 laps gone at the end of this one, and there'll be 7 to go. And still John Merritt leads. 0.5 the margin to Michael Adams. This is as close as Michael Adams has been to a V win all season. Going beautifully. Third is Lockie Purvis. Deficit 3.9. Chapo's 2 seconds in arrears of that. Jonathan Harris, Will Ramsden, Jordan Pianazzola pushing him along quite nicely. Ryan Tate, a new race winner in this series, in 8th spot ahead of Brendan Nealon and Brett Bradbury. Hilton Booth, Derek Fitzgerald, then Mark Heppel. What a way for Borgersrud to return to the circuit after grabbing a fast repair. Fastest lap of the race, if you don't mind, ladies and gentlemen. Chapo was on a hat-trick for theirs tonight, having picked up the fastest lap of the race earlier in the piece. Borgersrud's the form man in qualifying at the moment, but so quickly, because of the formula here, that can amount to nothing. The inverts obviously add an element of intrigue to the mix. They add an ingredient of recipe for carnage as well. So often, more than not, that turns out to be the case. We got through race 2 relatively unscathed in the opening stages. We had then 2 race incidents in the space of the first 3 laps in race 3 that wiped out quite a few contenders, significantly so. I feel for Adam Lavis. Like, he's one of your teammates, Schmitty. He's one of my teammates in the broadcast team here. He just can't get a clean run of the mill at the moment, and we know he is a former race winner in this series as well. Oh, bang, gone. Lockie Purvis. Putting the wrong way at turn 3. Are you kidding me?
Seems like no one can get a clean run in this series this season.
Oh, hang on. Whoa. Chapo's picked up a 15-second penalty. Now, where has that come from?
Let's have a look. I think I know where it's from.
Car 16 and 640. So 640 is Brendan Nealon. 16 is Derek Fitzgerald. Let's have a look at this, courtesy of Matt Schmidtke. The Disruptive latest replay.
There you go, big dive, and yep.
Dive, bang, 1, 2, yep, see you later. He went 10-pin bowling, even ended up with some collateral damage himself. So, that wipes Chapo out completely. Wipes him out completely. He won't be on the podium in this race. In fact, best guess is he's going to drop down behind at this stage Hilton Booth. Best he can hope for is probably 10th behind Brett Bradbury if he's got the pace to clear that, or put 15 seconds between himself and Hilton Booth. At the moment, that margin is only 13.0. There's a mechanical meatball for Lockie Purvis. So he needs to find 2 seconds on Hilton Booth. If he's to clear him, he is cleared. He's not clear of Derek Fitzgerald just by a tenth or two at this point in time. So look at Chapo's race time, add 15 seconds to it, folks. We're right on board with Lockie Purvis. Yeah, that's an unhappy looking race car.
Yep,
he will need to collect a fast repair here. Matty Schmidtke, oh geez. I worry when they put it in the grass before they approach the turn in. He got away with it, but he will need to report to pit lane at some point here. Greg Padgett now back on pit lane as well. Thorn Weggett's a lap down, having spent 38 seconds on pit lane. Now that doesn't seem right. Did he pick up a stop and hold by chance?
I'm not sure.
Seems like a very long time to be stationary in a Formula V. So, just like that, 11 3/4 minutes. Come and gone. And now the games are on because Michael Adams is taking one of the form men in this caper and in this club to task. We don't see as much of hot lap as we'd like to. Real world commitments, among other things, interfere with his ability to go racing, time constraints wise. But now he's under serious threat here. Michael Adams wanted to put one around the outside and led momentarily to the corner, but Merritt's going to lead on the exit. 3 laps to go. Must apologise, I'm going down with a sore throat, not because of the intensity of Formula V, but because every May I come down here. Every May the sky's open, and every May the family falls crook. So there's a little bit of the wog going around at the moment. I intend to take that with me to Grenfell and work the weekend and then come home and recover on Monday and be here Monday night as well. Round we go. 12 3/4 minutes gone. 2 1/4 to go. 2 laps to go at the line. John Merritt leads Michael Adams. This would be a huge moment for Michael Adams and Entropy Sim Sports if he can get by there. Chapo is third on the track, but he's not going to be third at the sticks. Travis has a party. I will try and make sense of that one for everybody at home for you a little bit later on, Trav. Thank you.
You might want to get a little bit more focused on what the third law is, because I'm not sure time has too much to do with it.
You know what? The main thing is we're having fun with it. And we wouldn't be here after 6.5 years if we weren't still enjoying ourselves. And as you've already seen, evidence of it, you know. We've obviously attracted some new members in recent weeks. Alex is one of those. I don't want to, divulge information that might be obviously embargoed until such time as it is revealed by the man himself. But there could be a situation, a commentator turned racer in a couple of weeks' time as well, ladies and gentlemen, in the Formula Vs. More on that next week. In the meantime, white flag in the air. Ryan Tate, what a night he's had. A race win so far and a good recovery, up plus 10 in this invert feature. So biggest mover of the race, bonus points coming his way for that. Biggest mover plus. We could talk about a couple of minuses that are bigger than 10. Unfortunately for Joel and Hansen and Thorn Weggett.
Seems
Adam Lavis will be ruling what might have been as well.
Purvis didn't realise he had a meatball because he has
He's
not
been
taken
sent packing,
it.
hasn't he?
Yeah, maybe
No.
he was hoping the race wouldn't go long enough that he'd have to circuit. Yeah, interesting.
Maybe he was just trying to test the waters there, gauge the temperature with the leverage that iRacing was going to allow him. But no, he's been sent packing. He is gone. Lockie Purvis is done, disqualified from this final heat. Meanwhile, John Merritt, too good. Clinical, on the run to the line. Checkered flag is in the air. And John Merritt nabs a race win in what has been a trying night for some in Disruptive Labs Formula V. Again, 3 different race winners in any given round. This time, it's round 6 at the Tsukuba circuit. Hot lap has done it from Michael Adams. Now, what's happened there on the final lap? Because Michael Adams has come home 3.3 in arrears. And Chapo's finished 3rd, but we know that's going to change. He's going to drop all the way down to 8th. Let's have a look at this. Michael Adams was well behind John Merritt by the time they got back to the strike. So, second to John Merritt is no mean feat. Like, that's nothing to turn your nose up at, but that's unfortunate for Michael Adams. The fact that he was within striking distance. He was a stone's throw away from joining the winners list in this series. And it's all gone to the proverbial.
He must have just had a bit of a slow lap there. I can't see anything registered.
Yeah.
The last thing is them battling for position on lap 12 and then him finishing the race on lap 15.
Potentially a spin that didn't trigger an off-track alert or something like that. Yeah. It's always good fun, Grant. Looking forward to having you part of it next week, mate. Thank you for that. Unlucky for Alex. Wrong place, wrong time. Caught out by the trip hazard that is technology not being foolproof and not being faultless in the second race. And then, unfortunately, just a roadblock in front of him on 2 occasions in that 3rd race. We'll have some highlights for you in just a moment, ladies and gentlemen. 3rd time lucky for Alex next week. Thorn Weggett, my bad to whoever that was in the 3rd race. Unlucky Thorn. Have a look at this again for everybody at home. Mark Heppel, he cannot take a trick this term. He really cannot take a trick. You feel for him. I think that was the race 2. Winner Ryan Tate limping away at some point there too. Joel and Hansen was involved. Lockie Purvis, Greg Padgett. Everybody had a crack at sustaining damage in one way, shape or form in all of that. Ryan Tate, good recovery, up 10 spots in that 3rd race from the invert demotion to 15th. So obviously he grabs the race win, and then by way of the invert formula, he goes down to 15th position on the grid. There are already apologies being lodged in the chat thread in our Formula V Discord server. No apologies from John Merritt because that was a faultless drive in race 3 from him. He's here in the booth. He'll have a chat to us in just a moment. But I just want to give everybody at home, can we bring the results up on the screen there, please? Maybe because it's my first term, I'm just going to have a bad time and come back in the next term. We have good days and we have bad days, mate. That's just how it is. There doesn't have to be any particular term number attributed to it. Even the form men of even the stalwarts of the club have bad days from time to time. Once you can break that trend, though, yes, the nightmarish days will be few and far between, we hope, for your sake. Now, at the line, Chapo was given a 15-second invoice. That's going to demote him down to Brendan Nealon. So we did clear Hilton Booth and Brett Bradbury and Derek Fitzgerald in the end. Any other penalties that may be applied, we haven't seen as yet. But it's good to have race control in the house. And it is Travis Azzopardi doing the thankless job again. Although he's commented about time, Matt Schmidtke. The amount of overtime the boys have had to do in the stewards room over the last couple of weeks, it's almost been a case for taking annual leave from work just to make the GSRC their full-time job. The only problem is their actual work pays, and this one doesn't.
Yeah, I've been doing my best to avoid it. I'm on very little incident points in the GT3s. I've got, I think, 4 0Xs for out of how many races we've done. So see if I can keep it up for the rest of the season.
That was tamer than I was expecting. Tsukuba has delivered some brilliant action in the past. It didn't necessarily deliver the goods tonight, except in, I guess, the early part of race 1 there. Seeing Chapo reel in Alex Borger's run and have a real good crack at that. I can't wait to hear more about this little island that he enjoys off the coast of New Zealand as well, quite frankly. And another lesson in flags for us tonight as well. We've had a bit of an education here. It's been a bit miscellaneous. Now, can we just get rid of the results there, Schmitty? Because Grant's left a comment there with regards to the stewards. Tough job being a steward, absolutely, mate. And you would know because, not from personal experience, but just in terms of your job as a commentator over the past, and obviously catching up with drivers after they've been tapped on the shoulder by the stewards. It's always an interesting experience. Now, John Merritt, 2 nights, 2 visits to the booth. Tsukuba delivers the goods. Tough night in the first 2 races, though, hot lap, but at least you're able to salvage something in the third. Well done.
Yeah, thanks, Zach. I didn't really have the pace in race 1 and just wasn't getting the downshifts right. And race 2, I did a pirouette to follow Chappie. He was sort of mid-track, and if I didn't sort of do that, it was probably not going to end well. So race 2 was tough, but yeah, chocolates in the third, happy.
We called it as a sympathy spin, John. So I'm glad that you've come in here and basically confirmed that. Very interesting to hear you say that you're not on the pace in a Formula V. That's unheard of. But Alex Borger's runs arrived on the scene here and raised the bar exponentially, hasn't he? The qualifying pace that he has brought to the table the last 2 weeks. Everybody else has to go back to the drawing board and find something to try and reel him in next week when we go to Brands Hatch.
Yeah, no, he's got some epic pace. So yeah, I think we'll have to go and do our homework before next week for sure.
I've just had to put a we've just had a message come into our broadcast chat thread actually. Jordan Pianazola's joined our broadcast chat team on the back of discussions on air last night about him maybe lending his vocals to a couple of these broadcasts going forward. Many hands make light work, ladies and gentlemen. It's always good to have new people in the house. It was interesting too because we talk about Alex Borger's run, and I can't wait to get more intel from Grant Boyden with regards to his background and his racing. And I mean, Boydo knows a lot more about him than I do because he works with him from a team standpoint as well. Cannot wait to hear more about him next week. It's been great to see him arrive here and just set the scene on fire. I was impressed to see Chapo go with him in race 1, but what I was surprised by, and now obviously with your admission it kind of clears things up, the fact that you weren't able to just go with those boys in race 1, mate. The importance though of getting clear air in race 3, paramount, and you did that and you took off. However, a certain VB liveried bloody Formula V in the name of Michael Adams kept you honest for at least 13 of the 14 laps. Yeah,
Michael was, mate, he had some good pace, so I sort of half had my act together for race 3 there, and I just struggled with the downshifts probably in that first race a little bit, which let the 2 get away. Once you lose that draft, it's hard work, particularly with 2 drafting together. So, but Michael was driving a great race in that last one.
For a brief moment there, it was like the days of old. We had Lexus of Melbourne Pulse tuning 1-2. Brendan Nealon there. A bit of a thought in the side for Michael Adams for a moment as you were working your way through to the front.
Yeah, Brendo was doing really well, so he was holding a good pace there, and mate, I said, yeah, keep it up. So you know, I hoped I'd skip away, but Michael definitely had good pace.
The Tsukuba circuit, I mentioned it to you last night. It's a niche one, but it's a beauty. I mean, you've got that open flowing section, the ability to drag and draft down the back straight, then onto the front straight as well. but so easily that goes pear-shaped if you don't get the run right through the right-hander. The difference tonight was the technical section through the middle of the circuit, wasn't it?
100%. So you could probably hold third, but it was probably quicker in second gear. But the downshift sort of, as they do, they had their penalty to pay if you got your clutch work slightly wrong.
Indeed, and I guess as well, mate, the other point too, I wasn't necessarily surprised, more so amused at the sense that, I mean, we'd heard some moaning and groaning when we went to Miami and Mexico City earlier in the season with regards to the lack of overtaking opportunities, and everyone was happy to see the back of those. Tsukuba's not a circuit that is short on overtaking opportunities, but it was difficult to work your way forward.
Yeah, it's not a great. I mean, the only real spot probably is the end of the front straight, maybe into the bowl, but it's got its risk. So
Yeah.
not a lot of overtaking there. Yeah, so I think Chappie had a little bit of a difficult night. I don't know where Braden was tonight, so hopefully my drop rounds will come into play later in the season.
Hang around when we go to break. I'll educate you, John.
Right.
with regards to your comments, because yes, there's some news that's been breaking behind the scenes throughout the course of the day. It's been one of those busy sort of days, and I thought to myself before I jumped in the booth tonight, I've got a lot done and nothing done at the same time today, and I did touch base with the club president, Josh Sudo, actually. That was part of that situation. Now, obviously, I'm looking forward to the next 4 rounds, John. I think we really showcase the best that Formula V brings to the table over the next 4 weeks. Brands Hatch, it wouldn't matter if it was the Indy configuration or the Grand Prix configuration like what we saw last night. It is the Grand Prix configuration next week. It is going to be a bit of a lottery draw. There's going to be a lot of pack racing, a bit like Summit Point. I'm looking forward to it. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, Brands will be a cracker in these cars. I mean, the 86s last night were testament to that. Good close racing, enough spots to make a little error, and the car behind to get a run. So no, I think it'll be a good combo.
One other question I meant to ask you with regards to this circuit: how long has it been since you had a proper competitive run around here?
I reckon it got to be 4 seasons in gents, maybe at least. So maybe a year. I'm struggling to think of the last time we saw it. A great circuit, love having it back, but it is one that we visit so sporadically that I'm struggling to remember the last time we were here as well. Love it, nothing wrong with it. The only thing is, with it only being a 2.08 kilometre lap, hot lap, you end up getting dizzy after a while. Yeah, she's short. Tsukuba and Okayama both cracking Japanese tracks for sure.
Indeed. The other thing as well with regards to short circuits, we do have one short circuit that I thought might have got a cameo on the Formula V schedule, mate, but missed out. I can't wait to go back to Lime Rock in these things.
Yeah, another ripper in the low horsepower cars. So MX5s, V's, 86s, Lime Rock's a cracking track. Just depending on the layout too, whether you got that little chicane up the back.
All right, very nicely done. Stand by there, mate. Who would you like to thank before I get some intel from Lockie Purvis, please?
Oh, I've got to say thanks to Brendo for holding up the end tonight, and the Pulse boys as always. So,
if you are just joining us, folks, do stick around because we do look forward to bringing you the Porsche Cup. Actually, are you jumping in? You did talk to Snelly about the Porsche Cup last night. Are you jumping in for Spa or not? John?
No, I won't, mate. I've got a few kid commitments, but best of luck to all the runners.
I was so looking forward to that, John. I'm only a little bit disappointed, but I understand completely. It has been a busy week, and it's not over yet. Stand by, mate. I will have a quick chat to you before you jump offline. However, Lockie Purvis, let's hear from you now. bit of a mixed bag of results tonight, unfortunately. Maybe one that you might be writing off when we get to the end of next week and the drop rounds come into the equation. Talk us through it from your standpoint, please.
Yeah, first two races were decent. Last race was not so good, so that's why I'm here to explain what happened. I got the meatball, never got the final lap warning, so I just ran it to the end and got disqualified. So yeah.
Well, yeah, that's actually a fair point. See, I often tell people the long-term memory is exceptional, the short-term memory is atrocious. I'd forgotten about the black flag already. But anyway, let's talk about that, because it is one of those things, isn't it? If you don't get that warning, it's hard to know just how far you can press the envelope and stretch the friendship with that. iRacing obviously have their limitations in place, and maybe had it been one lap shorter, you would have been okay.
Yeah, at the end of the day, we're racing. We're trying to remember our lines and then trying to count laps for how many laps you got left on the meatball is kind of tough, especially with my slow brain at times. So yeah.
Mark Keppel, that guy, I feel for him being one of your teammates. Every time we talk about him maybe bagging a result, it goes up the proverbial. He's got the pace there. He just doesn't have any of the luck at the moment. Thorn Weggett can sympathise. He was talking about the same thing. It's hard when you've got that sort of monkey on your back to break the hoodoo, isn't it?
Yeah, I feel for Mark, man. He's been putting in the work. He's got the pace and just gets unlucky, unfortunately. Just the way it goes.
So we put this one quickly to the back of our minds and press on. I mean, firstly, let me ask you this, because again, a bit of a niche racetrack, the Tsukuba circuit. What were your thoughts on the circuit from a driver's perspective?
Yeah, not many passing opportunities, unfortunately. It's kind of a toe track until you get to the end of the back straight. So it was all right. It's an official. That's why some of these boys were like really close on pace tonight. So yeah.
Any, I want to hear it from you as well, because I can't wait to chat to Chapo after the Porsches about both the Porsches and the Formula Vs. And by the way, folks, server change in a moment on our YouTube channel. This broadcast will cease, and of course the Porsche feed will start over on a separate link. Baton change coming up. Schmidtke out, Neil in. Schmitty, are you lining up for Spa? Do I need to hurry this along for you?
I'm not too fussed. If I get there in time, I might race, but it's up to however long this takes. I'm not fussed if I get to race or not.
Copy. Thank you. Well, actually, it doesn't matter because you're here next week anyway, subbing for Nearly for the whole night. So the championship aspirations are probably up in smoke already anyway. However, I will wrap it up very shortly because we will stand by for Spa at 8:45 Eastern. And I've got to have a chat in-house with these boys anyway. Lockie, yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? Because I was asking John about it. You see someone like Alex Borgersrud, who's got serious I rating, serious credential, lob here, put it on pole 2 weeks in a row. Even he's had misfortune in the races. It's hard to really lean on form, lean on pace for a form guide in Formula V, such as the nature of the category. But no doubt you guys would be going back to the drawing board, working out what you've got to do to try and go with him on one lap pace alone in the next few weeks.
Yeah, Alex is rapid, man. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's a official champ. Yep, if I'm not mistaken, for V. So, yeah, I've seen him in a few officials, and he's always been rapid. Yeah, I honestly don't know. He's just quick. We just got to, I don't know, work together to try and catch him.
Finally, before I let you go, mate, Brands Hatch, thoughts on that being the next stop?
Yeah, it should be fun. It'll be a tow fest, but it should be fun. So
wasn't bad in the Toyotas last night, so it'll be all right tonight. Next week in the Vs, I'm sure.
Yeah, should be close. So we'll see how it goes.
All right, very nicely done. Who would you like to thank before I let you go, buddy?
obviously just the 1-9 boys, free gassy, and my family and my missus for watching.
I think Brayden, I think Lockie, by the way, just gave everybody here a little bit of intel as to what's going on. And secondly, with regards to free gassy, I think that might be the new hashtag in the 1-9 socials the next couple of weeks. Thank you, Lockie.
Cheers, mate. Have a good one.
All right. Very nicely done. Feel free to stick around for a couple of minutes as well. We're going to a break. Grant Boyden telling you, Lockie, just for your info and ours as well, that he's third at the moment in the overalls, in the officials. So we'll keep an eye on that in due course. The great man will be here next week. So cannot wait to have G. Boyden in the house. A man of great experience when it comes to Australian motorsport broadcasting, and it's still going to this day and age as well. We might link that in the because we're very big supporters, ladies and gentlemen, of all of our friends here in the Sim Racing Network. Obviously, I cross promote the ASRG boys all the time because so many of our members are over there, and I do some commentary work for them. We'll link you to some of G. Boyden's iRacing commentary work in the next short while as well. Looking forward to that, and looking forward to having him in the house with us. We're going to a break. Well done to all and sundry. 3 races, 3 different winners. And well done to Ryan Tate getting his name on the winners list. Well done to, of course, Alec Borgersrud and Chapo, that magnificent battle for first in the first race. And John Merritt, of course, in the end, quite clinically, 3.3 seconds to the good Chapo with a 15-second invoice. We'll get back to that a little bit later on. I'll get Chapo's thoughts on that. He's sick of needing the RAF of race control of late. We're going to a break. We're here with thanks to Disruptive Labs, Waste Options, Trophy AI, merch.tgsrci.com and Flash Graphics. If you want to continue watching, hit the new link on the YouTube channel for the Porsches. We'll see you there in just a few moments' time. We'll go around the grounds then as well. Thanks to Matt Schmidt for his work as per usual. He's here for the whole night next week. Andrew Neal takes over on the other side of this.